Right, good evening all. Yep, if I'm looking tired, it's because I am tired, and that's the reason for that is because it's about 10 to midnight on Friday. Now you're probably thinking, why the hell are you doing a Friday Waffle at this time of night? Couple of reasons. Firstly, I was going to be doing it tonight when I got home from work, but I didn't get home until about 7 o'clock. And because I was going out to the pictures tonight, by the time I got home, took the dogs out, had my dinner, I simply ran out of time. Now I did try and do one of my walking the dogs and talkie videos. I did do one, maybe about a month ago I think, and quite a few people enjoyed it. So I thought, yeah, perfect, lovely night, I'll do that. But the problem is there were so many people walking their dogs, and like a few people, Swifto was talking about this in his video he put out last week. As much as I could quite happily talk in front of people who are wanting to listen to me, people who are interested in this subject, I can quite happily talk in front of people. But what I can't do, what I'm not comfortable about doing, is talking to a camera and I'm out and about and you maybe walk past somebody with a dog and you're sitting talking about Space Invaders. I don't feel comfortable with that. So I tried to record one tonight and I ended up giving up. But what I'm going to do is the footage that I did kind of take, I'll just overlay it in this video so you don't have to kind of stare at me for a wee bit. So you've got some kind of eye candy to look at, albeit it's dogs in a field. So yeah, I went to, what did I go to see? I went to see The Lion King with Ava. And I have to say, it is an absolutely fantastic film. If you like the original Lion King, now I was an adult when The Lion King came out, but I did think it was a great film. The animation, just the whole story. And what they've done is they've religiously kept to the story, but now it's CGI, and I've got to say, it's probably the most impressive CGI that I've actually seen so far. CGI is everywhere, adverts, the lot, but the realism that they've captured with animals, and there were some shots of when it's raining and it zooms in really, really close, and it is just astonishing. It really is. You do feel like you're watching animal actors. It is that realistic. So thoroughly recommend it. If you've got any kids, then go and take them to the pictures. It's an excuse to go and see a cracking film. If you don't have any kids, get yourself a kid and then go to the pictures. If you don't want to do that, go to the pictures and watch it anyway. Can't recommend it highly enough. I really enjoyed it. So that was that. This week, what have I been doing myself? Not been doing a great deal on the gaming front. I've been playing a bit of Robotron and Defender. I was lucky enough to interview Paul Spriggs last week, I think it was. Last weekend. I have got the video ready to go. I will be putting it out probably Monday, Tuesday next week. So if you want to watch a Defender and Robotron legend, then please tune in to the video. I was going to put it out this week, but then I was arranging to speak to Richard Broadhurst. Now if you don't know who Richard Broadhurst is, go and watch the video, but if you can't be bothered watching the video, he is a chap, a very, very talented programmer. He did work on some commercial games back in the sort of 90s. But Richard brought out, I think it was about 10 conversions of classic arcade games for the BBC. Now I did put out a video a couple of weeks ago. Can't remember what I called it. I can't remember what I called it. Go and have a look. I put it out a couple of weeks ago. It's I've got to say the standard of conversion is mind-blowing. It really is. So go and check the games out. You can actually play them in a browser, and if that piques your interest, please go and watch the interview with Richard. He's a really, really nice guy, totally down to earth, clever guy. I have been busy with making videos this week. Like I says, I I don't stockpile them so much. I don't want to get in a situation where I'm making videos for like months and months in advance. But usually, when my daughter's not here, I'll try and make videos so that if I don't get an opportunity to make one, I've got some that I can just put out. So that's what I've been doing. I've been making quite a few videos. Now, my mate Stephen from Retro Unlim was in touch with me earlier on in the week. Now he's been tasked with getting guests together for Play Blackpool, which is in, what's the date, the 12th and 13th of October. And he contacted me and he says, Al, do you know anybody, could you recommend anybody that would like to take part and be special guests? Now there's obviously quite a few people that I know that I've spoke to that very kindly agreed to be interviewed by myself. But the one that's sprung to mind, and I'd been talking to him fairly recently, is Sean Sutherland of Lotus Turbo Challenge, Kickstart, Trailblazer, Ski 64, you name it, he's done it, Supercars. So I got in touch with Sean last week and I said, look Sean, I'm a favour on behalf of my mate. We're looking to get some good guests for Play Blackpool in October. Are you interested? And he says, yeah, absolutely. So he's only gone and got his mate Andrew Morris. Now Andrew did all the graphics for all the games that we just mentioned. Sean designed them and programmed them. Andrew did the graphics. So we're going to have Sean Sutherland and Andrew Morris going to Play Blackpool. That should be a really cracking interview. But I thought to myself, you know what? Since I have I wouldn't say gone to bother, but since I had arranged to do that, I said to him, would you like to come on my channel for another chat? And it would be a way of kind of letting the guys see what's involved. I mean, I did speak to Sean last year, so he knows what to expect. I don't think Andrew's done any of these kind of things before. So hopefully it's going to be Tuesday next week. I'm going to get Andrew and Sean on for an interview. It will be stuck to an hour because Andrew's a busy man and he's going on holiday. So he said he could certainly do it, but it would have to be kind of stuck to an hour, which is absolutely fine. I mean, anytime I do these talky type videos when I'm interviewing somebody, I always say we'll try and keep it to an hour, and invariably it always runs over. So that's, looking forward to doing that. Hopefully I'm going to be talking to these guys next week. I've got another couple of things lined up as well, which I'm not going to talk about just now. Excuse me, I'm absolutely shattered by the way, so it is going to be a short video. Now the reason what I'd normally do if I can't make a video on a Friday, I would do it on a Saturday, but I've got plans tomorrow as well, so I would probably not have got a chance to do this tomorrow, hence the reason I'm doing it tonight, and it's going to be quite a short one. I did do a video yesterday. Well, it depends what day you're watching this. It's still, is it Friday? We're now actually into Saturday, it's now after midnight. I did a video on Thursday and it was a video response to Swifto, and it was all about subscribers and is it important, do subscribers matter, how relevant are they today. Now I'm not going to start talking about it just now because I did put out a video all about that, explaining where I see subscribers. Are they important? Personally, I do think they are quite important, but anyway, I'll not talk about it. But the video seemed to be quite popular. It's one of these types of videos where it raises as many issues and questions as it answers questions. But if that's your thing, go and check it out. Hopefully we'll see other people doing their own video response to it. So yeah, that's kind of it. Like I said, I was at the Lion King tonight. Really enjoyed it. Tomorrow, what have I got on? I'm taking my dogs to get their hair clipped, and then I'm going to park run, and then I've not got any sort of plans tomorrow as such. Well, I'm seeing my girlfriend, hence the reason I'm not really going to have time to actually do this tomorrow. But I'm sure I'll have some stuff to do. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm just going to batter into any questions that we have got lined up from last week's Friday Waffle. Right, the oldie Steve, question for you, mate. I know you love Berserk, don't we all? but have you ever played the sequel to Berserk, a game by Stern called Frenzy? What is your opinion? I have, Steve. I played it for the first time maybe a few months ago. In fact, I was at the computer club, and me and my mate I've kind of got him into Berserk. He loves Berserk as well. I think I'm actually better at the game than him. I've got 25,000 now and he hasn't. But Ian's a big Berserk fan, so we actually played, what do we call it? We played Frenzy a few months ago. It's completely different. I mean, it's you've got, I'm trying to do it from memory, you've got these walls where the baddies can fire through walls. Your bullets also bounce off walls, so it's a bit more involved in Berserk. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I didn't have many shots of it, so you really need to sort of try and play a game a few times before you sort of make your mind up. I did have quite a few games. It's certainly more complicated than Berserk, and I think the thing I like about Berserk is the simplicity of it. It's a very, very simple game. Kill robots and escape, and that is basically it. This one has got a lot more game mechanics. You can still only fire, but like I says, your bullets bounce. Baddies can shoot through walls. So it's it's an interesting take on Berserk. Am I convinced by it? Am I going to really play it? Probably not. Unless I complete Berserk, which we know is impossible. Anyway, Steve, thanks for your question, mate. Let's have a look. I don't even know how many questions we've actually got here. Well, there's down the rabbit hole. Kevin, hi Alan. Glad to see that app worked out for you for filming Tempest 2000. Yeah, Kevin basically recommended a phone app which allows you to record CRT screens. You use a modern device like a smartphone or a GoPro, and you just get the wavy lines on the screen, which is a pain in the arse. So yeah, Kev recommended an app, and it seemed to work pretty well. So there's been big news about Nintendo Switch JoyCons suffering drift on the thumbsticks, but luckily Nintendo are going to replace them all for free. Have you ever dealt with their customer service for a replacement before? I have for my 3DS, and it was a very good experience for me. I haven't, Kev. I haven't actually had to do it. Now, I bought one of the original Switches. When I say one of the originals, I bought it when it first came out, and I'm guessing that my Joy-Cons are probably going to be the batch that were affected. Now, I've not played the Switch all that often, and part of me is going to say I don't think I've got any issue with my Joy-Cons, but part of me is thinking, well, if they're replacing them for free, would I not be better off just getting them replaced anyway? I'm assuming that the ones they're going to send you are going to be 100% spot on, so I may well do that. Do you actually know, how do you go about getting them replaced? I take it you just email them and then you'll send them off and they'll send you new ones. I might do that. Like I says, I don't think my Joy-Cons, there's an issue with them, but like I says, because I can technically get them swapped for free for two that are definitely going to work, I might well do that. But I've never had any reason to contact Nintendo for anything. But it's good to hear that they've got good customer service, and I've got to say fair play to them, because if you were ever a 360 owner, I mean, there was an issue called the Red Ring of Death, the 3 Red Rings of Death. It was basically 3 of the lights of the sort of 360 logo would light up red, and basically that was your machine screwed, and it became known as the Red Ring of Death. I think it was to do with overheating, the machine overheating. Now, it was a problem that Microsoft acknowledged was an issue, but they never. I think they offered to replace so many. Now, I actually had, and I'm not kidding, I actually owned 5 Xboxes, and 4 of them red ringed, and I never got a replacement by Microsoft. I told them, I think one of them was, I can't remember exactly how it worked, but they basically refused to replace them, which obviously I wasn't happy about at all, and I said to him, look, you know full well that there is an issue with your machine, and I've got that issue, and yet you're refusing to replace it. And they would not back down, they absolutely would not give me a replacement. So I wasn't happy with that one little bit. You know, I spent a fortune and I never got a replacement. So anyway, but yeah, I might actually just contact Nintendo, Kev, and just do exactly what you're talking about, because if I can get 2 brand new ones, then why wouldn't I? Secondly, I was watching Willie of Arcade USA looking at a handheld, and I noticed a big scratch on his hand, and I chuckled because my idea of hell is to do an unboxing and then get scratched before recording the video. Has that happened to you, eh? Nah, I can't say it has, Kev. I don't think it would bother me in the slightest. In fact, I'm trying to think when it would be, or maybe about 2 years ago. I was going for a night out in Edinburgh, and I was waiting for a train, and I actually walked into a lamppost. Yeah, I was walking along the platform, and I turned round to see if the train was coming. I kept on walking, and I walked smack bang into a lamppost, and I ended up, it wasn't a black eye, but I did have a cut above my head, and I do remember people commenting on it on the Friday Waffle. I'll need to find out, I'll need to actually try and... Here you go, a special prize to anybody that can send me the link to the Friday Waffle where I've got a cut in my eye. It's a kind of cut just above my eye, so if anybody can send me a link and put it down below, I'll come up with some little prize, and I promise you I'll send it. It's not going to be worth a lot of money, but it'll be something daft. So anybody that can come up with post a link to the video where I walked into a lamppost. I don't walk into a lamppost recording the video, by the way, but you will see the cut in my eye, and I do mention it in the waffle. And thirdly, is there any game that has an easy mode that you dislike or consider to be a cheap way out of the challenge? Is there any game that has an easy mode that you dislike or consider to be a cheap way out of the challenge? There's no... I mean, any modern game I generally play on easy, just because I'm not particularly good at modern games, and more importantly, I can't be arsed spending an infinite amount of time playing it. I'm trying to think of any game that's just been made too easy. I mean, I always remember Stuart Campbell, fellow Scotsman, ex-Amiga Power reviewer. He also he also worked for Sensible Software. I think he designed the levels on Cannon Fodder 2. But he recorded a video, and it was it Sonic Adventure or something like that. It was one of the sort of modern Sonic games. And he sellotaped the controller in the up position, and he put a weight on a jump button. So Sonic was constantly running forward and jumping, and I don't think he completed the game doing that, but he recorded just how far you were able to get in the game just with running and continually jumping, and he got quite far into it. So some of these games were just ridiculously easy, which, you know, is absolutely pointless. When you compare modern games to games back in the day, it's like chalk and cheese. But I can't think of any game offhand, Kev. I mean, in the old days I used to play every game in normal, but like I says, I get to a point where I struggle. And one thing I've always spoke out about, and it's never likely to happen, I wish modern game companies would actually, not so much a cheat mode, I wish they would make an option so that you can get infinite energy, infinite weapons, even invulnerability, if that floats your boat. And the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of modern games, I get to a point, BioShock, or whatever it was the last BioShock, I can't remember what it was called, BioShock Infinity, was that what it was called? I got to the very last level, and you've got to play it for about 20 minutes and then you die, and then you've got to play it for another 20 minutes and you die, and it just keeps putting you right back. You can't save it. And I ended up just giving up with it. It was the same with the first Bioshock. I got to the very, very last baddie, and because I had basically started the level with very little ammunition and very little energy, it meant that I just died instantly. So I wish companies would put a cheat option in. Give us the option to play it with infinite energy. Give us an option to play it with infinite, ammunition, whatever, all the guns. Because I've paid for it, I want to be able to complete it, and if I can't get past a certain level, I give up, and I'm kind of losing out in the game. So if any game producers are watching this, please consider putting options to make a game easier for people like myself. And I don't mean just make it easy, I mean there's something really good fun about playing a game on hard level but with infinite ammo. It is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've completed Resident Evil 4, I don't know how many times, 10 times possibly, and I still like playing it. I'll go back and play it with infinite ammo and I can't die, and it's just enormous fun shooting everything. So please guys, if you're watching this and you're a game designer, please think about putting some kind of option where you can make it easier. And lastly, what is hands down the absolutely best looking video game you've ever played? Blimey Kev, that is a question and a half. It's obviously going to be a modern game. Now, you know what, most modern games look astonishing. The one that I am going to go for, but I'm also going to give a special mention to a second game. My favourite looking game, I would probably say, and not just in looks, but it's a great game, is probably The Last of Us on the PS4. I mean, I played it in the PS3, and I've got to say, I couldn't see a lot of difference. And that's not a reflection on how inferior the PS4 version is. It's a comment on how amazing the PS3 one is. But it's a stunning looking game. The open world detail, you really believe you're in a different world. Now I'm sure I don't play many modern games, so there's probably games that people would say, oh, compared to such and such, Fallout, whatever. I think most modern games now look absolutely amazing. And a lot of people used to say, well, what's the difference between a PS3 and a PS4? There's not much difference in graphics. I think the latest, or the current consoles, the extra oomph they've got, it just allows the real subtle differences, light reflecting in the water. It's the finer details, and the extra power allow that to really shine. So Last of Us is an astonishing game, but one game that I played and completed actually just a few weeks ago, which I did mention, is A Way Out, which is a simultaneous 2-player game which Eva and myself played. You play the part of 2 escaped convicts, and I'm not going to spoil it anymore. In fact, I've kind of given a spoiler. You're 2 convicts and you've got to try and escape. And the graphics, it uses the Unreal Engine, but again, it's the open world. You're outside, and it's amazing. It really is. So yeah, I'm going to go for The Last of Us and A Way Out, Kev. So anyway, listen mate, thanks very much for all your continued support and your questions. Failed channel, my question. This week I have rediscovered Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and it really sucked me in, but I didn't actually play the game. I loaded it up and got straight into roaming the game world. I have seen the missions and they are full of badly acted rubbish stories, but 2/3 of the map are locked until loads of missions are done. If they had just let you live in the live game world without the missions, it would be the perfect game. A true 100% Zap Gold Medal. Can you think of any game on any system that is so close to being perfect, except for one little detail that makes it annoyingly less than the perfect game you wanted it to be? Can I say I've not played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I did play and have played the latest one. Well, I say latest one, Grand Theft Auto 5. like yourself, I've got no time for missions. I can't be bothered with it. I just get bored with these. Pick up that, take it to there, kill him, take it back, get points, whatever. I just lose interest. But like you, when I've played Grand Theft Auto 5, I have just enjoyed the actual gaming world. Steal a motorbike, drive up a cliff, crash the motorbike, run down the hill, go to the beach. I mean, I remember playing it a couple of years ago and I put on some music and I drove down, I think I was in a car or something, I drove to the beach and I actually was just walking about on the beach and the sun was setting, and then as the sun started to get darker, I heard a noise and there was a guy in a speedboat, and I basically swam out to the speedboat, killed the guy or flung him into the water, stole his speedboat and just went for a drive. And it's a beautiful game. I'm not a fan of the missions at all, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is an absolute stunning game, so I completely get what you're saying with San Andreas. And yeah, that kind of makes sense as to what I was talking about earlier on. You've bought that game, you can't be arsed actually playing it properly, but why should you lose out on being able to play the whole game world? They should really put an option where you can just unlock it. You know, not everybody wants to play the game the way it was designed, but at least let us enjoy the game world. So I totally get what you're saying. But you're talking about a game and a system that's so close to being perfect except for one minor detail which makes it less than perfect. Believe me, let me think. A perfect game but for one thing. You know what, there's something niggling me that there is a game that I've kind of thought about. There's been plenty of games that I've played and they've been spoiled for whatever reason. I wouldn't describe them as the most perfect game. I'm trying to think of games that have just been broken for whatever reason. I can't remember. I'm honestly trying to remember. I mean, there's plenty of games, again, going back to the difficulty thing. There's some amazing games, but they're just too difficult. Battle Squadron on the Mega Drive or the Commodore Amiga. Wonderful shoot 'em up, but it's just too damned hard. But perfect game. Nah, I mean, I don't know, probably is there a perfect game? Probably the perfect game would be an arcade game. Probably be Berserker, Robotron or Defender or something. Super Pipeline 2, is that the perfect game? Almost possibly. I can't think of any game that I would describe as a perfect game. I mean, like I said, I was obviously answering Kevin's question. The Last of Us is an astonishing game, and there's not a lot about the game that I would say was spoiled or ruined because of the game mechanics. I could maybe use your example of Grand Theft Auto and go for Grand Theft Auto 5. It's an absolute stunning game world. It really, really is. But the fact that you've got to do stupid missions kind of spoils it for me. I suppose I could maybe say one game mechanic which really annoys the hell out of me, and it's having to craft weapons. Now, a game that a lot of people say is probably one of the best games ever. Some people have said it is the best game they've ever played, and is it Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game on the Switch? A lot of people say it's the best game they've ever played. Now, I've tried to get into it. I've not put a lot of time into it, but I have tried to get into it. But the one thing that really annoys me is the crafting of weapons. I just can't be bothered with that at all. I don't want to have to find sticks and whatever, and I don't want my weapon to run out. When I get a weapon, I want to be able to use it constantly. So that is part and part. That's one thing that I can't be arsed with. It's the same with Fallout 4. I gave it a go because people were going on about how wonderful a game it was. But again, just the whole having to build weapons and all that, I just can't be bothered with that. So yeah, maybe possibly go for Breath of the Wild Zelda game on the Switch. It's supposedly almost the perfect game, but for me, this crafting weapons nonsense, so that you build a bow and arrow and it only lasts for a wee while, then it breaks. Nah, I'd rather stick to weapons that don't break. Anyway, Failed Channel, thanks for your question, mate. I don't know if I've got any other questions. Right, Panther UK, cracking stuff, mate. Waffle-tastic, as you say. No prizes for guessing. My Desert Island machine. Obviously the Commodore 64. Glad to see you're getting your mojo back, fella. Next waffle then. What game would you say has held your attention the longest out of all the ones you've played? I know how much you love these questions. The game that's probably, not probably quite, I would say most definitely the game that I have put most time into would be the original Sensible Soccer, without a shadow of doubt. I mean, I've completed Doom 1, Doom 2, all the various Dooms, but they didn't take particularly long to play, but 100% Sensible Soccer, and it's got to be the Commodore Amiga one. I did get it on the PC. When I sold my Amiga, got a PC, it was World of Sensible Soccer, and it just wasn't the same. So it's got to be the original Sensible Soccer on the Commodore Amiga. That would be the game that probably took up, I don't know how many hours I played that game, but believe you me, it was a lot. So anyway, Chris, thanks for your question, mate. Listen, I am getting absolutely knackered, and I think I'm probably at the end here. Yeah, I was obviously talking about subscriber numbers last week. By the way, thanks very much to everybody that has subscribed. I think I'm up to about 512, sorry, 500, I'm up to 2,512, so it's kind of jumped up in the last week by about, I don't know, about 15 or 16, so that is fantastic, so thank you very much for doing that. Ben Dust is saying, I wouldn't worry about subscribers. So far, 129 people have viewed this video. That's last week's Friday Waffle. Imagine all those people in a room to watch and listen to you. That's a lot of people. If you get too big, you'll lose the interaction too. Absolutely, and I did see that in my video response thing as well. So, I've got a large reply from Mark, which I've read. I think that's yep, Locosa, you're mentioning there about collaboration videos. If anybody has watched Locosa, he's a crusty old guy like me. He likes to swear a bit, he likes to moan, so him and I are going to do a collaboration video, hopefully this week coming actually. I'll give you a shout. What I'll do is we'll be in touch. We'll need to, I don't like putting my email address on YouTube, and you shouldn't do that either, but we'll all get in touch and we can we'll arrange it. I think that would be quite an entertaining video. We might even go for a live stream. How would that be? So I will be in touch. Don't think there's any questions there. Yep, I think that is it. So anyway, listen guys, I've managed to irk 33 minutes out of this, which I'm quite surprised I've managed to do, considering I'm almost falling asleep. So apologies for me looking like shit. Apologies for a slightly lesser Friday Waffle. But yep, as always guys, thank you very much for watching. Have an excellent weekend.